that I think should be fixed in the game. I really appreciate the developers have been listening to me a lot. So, any of you fans that had an easier time in Street Fighter 6 with the just pressing drive impacts, drive rush, medium punch and medium kick together, at least for my normal controls, you had way easier possibilities to land high level combos. I was doing all those combos the regular way. You know what I'm saying? I still do the dash because I'm so used to how it originally was, but you guys can thank me for that as well. I thought it should have been like that for Street Fighter 4 as well. In fact, I think they could still go back and update it for Street Fighter 4, and we all would love them for it because it would make a lot of these high-level combos so much easier. If it, like, after you did, let's say you do crouching medium kick fireball and just press focus attack, you don't actually have to dash. Just press focus attack and the game will automatically dash for you. But I kind of understand where they're coming from. They could have changed the regular focus attack and took away the taunt because the taunt is completely unnecessary in fighting games. They could have changed the taunt to the push pad and made R1 and R2 together the focus attack. You know what I'm saying? Because taunt is just completely useless in Street Fighter anyway, unless you're playing Third Strike. Then it does have, bonuses for each, depending on what character you pick, is a different bonus. You might get less stun, on your character. You might get more damage on your next combo. You might get more health. Like Q is considered the best character in the game after he taunts 3 times, even though he really isn't. But after he taunts 3 times, he becomes the highest health character in the game. But keep in mind that it's not easy to throw his taunt out unless you actually land a hard knockdown combo. You know what I'm saying? Which is not that difficult to do, but he doesn't really have good combos, so I still don't think he's the best character in the game. But he has the highest health. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, this is one thing that has been wrong with the game ever since the original Street Fighter 2. In my opinion, it should be fixed. Like, for example, I was just playing Street Fighter 4, and Makoto was doing her quarter circle forward punch, her lunge punch that comes real fast, her neutral quarter circle forward punch. I don't know exactly what it's called, Hayate. I might be wrong about that. I think that's the overhead. What was I going to say? On reaction, I basically crouch jabbed it and stopped it from countering me. I think that's completely unacceptable. That's not the only move in the game that you can do that to. Like, for example, E Honda's headbutt. Ever since Street Fighter 2, I've been using that as a tactic. If they do E Honda's back forward charge move with punch, you can, on reaction, crouching jab that. I would only recommend doing that at full screen because it's way easier to react to. But, you can maybe get, like, a little bit outside of, if put it like this, if you're within like crouching medium kick range, don't even try it. Don't even try it. But it does work. It works on Blanca Ball. It even still works to this very day. I don't understand why they don't fix that. I think if a Blanca player does a special move charge ball at a player that is trying to counter them with stand jab or crouching jab, honestly, I recommend doing the crouching jab because I just feel it's more effective than stand jab. But it shouldn't be in the game at all. You could do. I can name, the list goes on and on. The list goes on and on. I don't like for example, Hugo's running a clothesline. I don't know exactly what that's called. I believe it's half circle forward with kick, where he kind of runs at the opponent and tackles him with the arm and does a hard knockdown. Like, as a Ken player, like, ever since Street Fighter 3, like, I could just basically hard punch uppercut that on reaction. I completely disagree with that. I think that move should be so strong that if you try to do the hard punch uppercut, it counters your hard punch uppercut and just shuts everything down. But I do believe that if you do it at the wrong time, like let's say as a Hugo player, I make a mistake and I do it and they block it, I should be counterable after, which you are. Which is so confusing to me because you can counter him before or after You could counter him on reaction before, and you could counter him even on block, which is very confusing to me. The move takes way too long to get there to be so easily countered. You know, even though this is completely out of subject, like Sean's I think it's quarter circle forward kick. As a Sean player, as an expert, I am the best Sean player of all time, no doubt about it, in Third Strike. If you guys don't know about me, you probably haven't played against me. But in Third Strike, when I was dominating everyone in PlayStation 3 Third Strike and Xbox 360 Third Strike, as the best Elena and Sean player, period, no doubt about it, but also the best Ryu player, period. And probably Ken as well. The point I'm trying to make is that full screen, like unless it's EX, like EX is way easier to go. If you don't know, with Sean's quarter circle forward kick that he does, his special move, he does like this overhead kind of kick. You can actually use it to go over projectiles. The thing the problem I have with it, it takes way too long to start up. And like I said, like you can do a regular hard kick. What I recommend you doing, I only recommend doing this at full screen because Sean, there are other options that he has, like the quarter circle back light punch, which will roll you under the projectile. Honestly, I don't recommend doing this because I believe the pressure is still advantage to your the opponent and not you. So I believe at the right range, you will be able to roll and kind of get closer without being countered. I've done it plenty of times. But his true like anti-projectile special move, both of them are anti-projectile, but this one specifically counters full screen. It just so ineffective. I was probably the only Sean player actually landing it. You know what I'm saying? I think Remy's hard kick, quarter circle back hard kick, works as an anti-projectile. In fact, I was the first Remy player actually using it in that fashion. You know what I'm saying? But I honestly don't think it should be anti-projectile. The reason I say that is because his zoning, especially in Third Strike, is like unmatched. He might be I honestly think he's the best zoner in the entire game. If you really know what you're doing with Remy, it's a wall of projectiles. He completely dominates every charge character in the game. I'm not saying they can't win. I'm saying that they can no longer try to approach him with charge moves at all. So if you're playing a good high-level Remy and you're a charge character, forget that your character charges altogether, in my opinion. In my opinion, what I would do, my strategy against good Remys is that I try to parry the low projectile. And especially as a charge character, that's going to start giving you the charge motion. So with let's say with a character like Urian or Alex or something like that, you could parry the low fireball, the low sonic boom that he does. That's going to start your charge. And before the next one comes, because that's also he's still after that, if he still commits to doing a high projectile, which he has to, the game is designed that he cannot throw another low projectile in that situation. As far as I know, I believe the parry does allow him to throw another low projectile, but you'll even beat that as well. But they usually go low, high, low, high, low, high, and then they'll start mixing in the EX if you try to jump, and they'll hit you out of the air with the EX because it's just so fast. But, you know what I'm saying? You have to do, you have to get low. My advice is just low parry, because if you block it, if you block the low projectile, it's going to keep you at a range that you're never going to be able to strike him. And you have to get in a range that you can strike Remy, otherwise you cannot win the matchup. So you're going to have to low parry and walk forward and duck, because he's probably going to throw a high projectile. But if he throws another low projectile, low parry, get forward, you know what I'm saying? And move forward. There are supers. I was playing Remy and I played against a Sean player that used the projectile invincibility of Sean, Hyper Tornado. It almost seems as if it works full screen. I might be it's about maybe 75% of the screen that it'll completely go through low projectile and counter him and probably take away 40% of his health. There's a lot of options like that in the game. With Hugo, he has Hammer Frenzy, Super. There's a lot of moves like for example, Q is another good counter to him because his Super, I believe it's Super R1. You know what I'm saying? It has projectile invincibility. So you're gonna want to do your research and really find out which supers, especially theirs. The reason I say Sean and Q is because their supers do have true projectile invincibility, but they also have a lot of range. You know what I'm saying? So that's also what makes it very good is that the range of it makes it possible to, even when you're damn near full screen, to completely go through it and still counter him and take a lot of health. So what you should be doing as a smart player is doing like low stay max distance because he's just going to try to spam you with projectiles. That chip damage is really not going to do that much damage. It does do damage, but it's not going to do the kind of damage you're going to do to him if you counter him with one good super. So what I do recommend just doing, weather the storm, low parry those sonic low projectiles, low parry, you're going to start building meter, and in between those low parries, do like a crouching medium punch because that's also going to help you build your meter faster. Now, once you have super, an intelligent Remy player is going to stop throwing sonic booms altogether. Guess what happens after he does that? He's really not that good anymore. So you took away his best option available. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, obviously that would probably never be allowed in Street Fighter again. It was hilarious. It was, in a way, it kind of made the game a lot of fun because I felt like almost every character in their own way could win in Third Strike. I felt like it was the most balanced Street Fighter because of parry. No matter how bad people say a character is, I felt that they still could win at the highest level because of that. But that's one thing I noticed. I'm not gonna mention all the special moves because I might miss some. I'm trying to think. You know what I mean by that. Like, there's special moves that you can just crouch jab on reaction and stand jab on reaction, and it'll just completely stop that. The reason I say that is because it's unacceptable in my opinion as a long time high level player. That players that do not have the talent and are not playing the game properly are winning because of stuff like this. Like, of course it's in the game and I use it, but it shouldn't be in the game. If I try to crouch jab Makoto's quarter circle forward punch or Blanca Ball's, it actually should have invincibility to go through my normal attack and counter me. You know what I'm saying? And I think the game, especially on EX, like if Blanca lands an EX Blanca ball, it should wall bounce you in a way that it gives you enough time to up ball or just do another Blanca ball. I think that's the way every character should be designed. Like for example, Makoto, she does a quarter circle forward EX punch and lands it. You should wall bounce and she should get additional damage right there. She should get her uppercut move right there. Like let's say for example, Makoto also has her quarter circle back EX punch, or a regular punch that's an overhead. If she hits the EX, I think it should ground bounce and give her additional damage. I think you should not be able to stop it on reaction. Like let's say for example, if I see her do the EX, I can actually hard punch uppercut her EX on reaction with my regular hard punch uppercut with Ken. And completely beat it. I believe if I do it with Ryu, the invincibility of the EX is going to absorb Ryu's uppercut, and I'm going to finish my move before Ryu actually lands. Depending, obviously, if he's doing hard punch uppercut. I think if he does light punch uppercut, it's still in Makoto's favor. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. But what I'm saying is that it shouldn't even be allowed. Like her EX overhead should just shut the uppercut down because the uppercut, that's another thing I wanted to bring up that I really don't like, that the developers allow in the game is that, especially in neutral, is a huge problem in Street Fighter 6. I know because it's been a huge problem ever since Street Fighter 2, and basically even Street Fighter 1, even though I really don't play Street Fighter 1 as much. It's a funny game. For the time, it was ahead of its time. It's the best fighting game at the time it was released, no doubt about it. But what I'm saying is that, for example, I'm not just saying Ryu and Ken. As you know, I play Ryu and Ken I play Shoto characters. If you don't know, Shoto is just defining Ken and Ryu's fighting style. They practice Shotokan or something like that. A fictional fighting style. It looks more like he's doing judo and stuff. I don't know, maybe. That throw that he does looks like a judo throw, if you ask me a little bit. But the point I'm trying to make is that in neutral in Street Fighter 6, like let's say for example if I try to do like on Wake Up, I try to do standing jab or crouching jab to my opponent, pressure him, they can just hard punch uppercut me. They can EX uppercut me with Ken and Ryu. Shut me down. Shut my pressure down. I commit to making a move before them. They can react after me and counterattack me. I think that's completely ridiculous. I think what they should do. I'm trying to see if I'm still streaming. I just don't want to be talking for no reason. I don't know how to search for that. Okay, let's just make sure. Okay, yeah, I'm still streaming. Okay. The reason I say that, this is how you know I really care about the franchise, because I am a Ryu player. I do play Ken. I actually have been switching more to Ken, actually. I'm probably the best Ken player outside of maybe Damdai, who I think is also an amazing Ken player as well. I would love to play him. I think he's the best European player probably of all time, no doubt about it. I would like to say that basically the reason I say that is because, I feel like, let's say, for example, as Kimberly, the character I was playing in Street Fighter 6, on Wake Up, if you guys don't know what Wake Up means, that means that's fighting game terminology when you first get off the ground. Some characters in the game have to deal with pressure. If the opponent makes an attack on you, you have to deal with it. Ken, Ryu, Guile, there's a lot of characters in the game that don't have to deal with it. It gives them a huge advantage, and I think it's completely unfair. All they really have to do to fix this is, because it's an anti-air, so fans will understand anyway, it would make the game way more balanced and way more fun. I think it would make it more combo-based, which would make the game way better. The only thing I'll say, the move, the anti-air uppercut, Dragon Punch, or Flash Kick, whatever the hell it is, that basically shuts down anyone's offense, no matter what the hell they do, basically you would just have to make that special move, Dragon Punch, hit way later in the animation. It's designed to hit you out of the air. So the developers really have to tweak it in a way that when the opponent's in the air, it will hit. It will hit, and it will counter them. I'm tired of getting trades. Like when they jump in the air, it doesn't matter what they do. I caught him with an anti-air. I made the right move. I should benefit 100% entirely from the situation. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is, ever since I believe it started happening around Street Fighter 3, it wasn't that bad. Obviously, high-level players are doing a lot of anti-air parries. So, like, a lot of players resort to doing a lot of anti-air normals. If you don't know what basically it's a normal that hits you out of the air. Like, for example, if I'm playing Ryu in Third Strike, instead of doing a Dragon Punch uppercut, because his anti-air is very easy to parry, I'll do standing hard kick, depending on the range I'm at. If they're way closer, I'll probably do crouching hard punch instead. The reason I say that is because even if they anti-air parry me, I'll be able to block their next attack. You get what I'm saying? If I do standing hard kick, they'll be able to parry. I think there are some. I might be wrong about this. I haven't properly tested it, but like if Akuma has level art, the anti-air, if he has the super that he can do in the air fireball, I believe he can. I'm not 100% certain about this, but if he parries your standing hard kick with Ryu, let's say I try to anti-air him with standing hard kick, and he parries it, I believe he can do air fireball super and counter me if he parries. So I might not 100% be accurate on that. But that's what I mean. Most players in high level third strike, they're just doing anti-air normals to avoid getting countered by doing, like, let's say, for example, hard punch uppercut, EX uppercut. There's players good enough to parry all that. You know what I'm saying? I've played them. I've played players that parry my Shin Ryuken Super, all of it. So, I've seen it all. I believe that those real strong anti-airs should not be. I'm cool with it being a combo ender. I don't want the game to change so much that, like, let's say, for example, I do medium punch, Ken's target combo, medium punch, hard punch into hard punch uppercut. That's like that's a basic combo that every player should be able to do if they want to win. That's a combo that you must know as a Ken player. I didn't like how they changed it in Street Fighter V to having to hold back while you do the target combo. That really made it way harder for me to land that hard punch uppercut afterwards. I could not stand that they did that. The reason I say that is because certain characters have that huge advantage to just shut down your offense entirely. And it's unacceptable in my opinion. I think it should be more combo based. As you can see, every other fighting game is basically combo based. That's an easy fix for that situation. And those are the situations I was trying to bring up. Like, why should I be able to crouch jab Blanca's ball ever since Street Fighter 2? That was a possibility. You know what I'm saying? It has not changed in 30, it has not changed. When the original game was what? 87? You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I didn't realize that Dragon Ball actually came out before Street Fighter. So I'm talking all this crap about, Mortal Kombat is copying Street Fighter, which in a lot of ways, if you do pay attention to the game, it did. But I didn't realize that Street Fighter is a lot like Dragon Ball Z, and they got a lot of their influence from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. As you very well know, with the Shinku Hadouken and the Fireball, that's basically what Goku was doing in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. And that was actually designed way before Street Fighter ever came out. So I guess Mortal Kombat wouldn't even exist if it weren't for Dragon Ball. I'm always saying that if it weren't for Street Fighter, but Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and all my favorite fighting games probably wouldn't even exist if it weren't for Dragon Ball. Which in my opinion is the best anime of all time. Even though I thought Dragon Ball Z obviously was way better than Dragon Ball. And it's Samurai Champloo, which I think is the best anime. In my personal opinion, I prefer Samurai Champloo. That's my favorite anime of all time. If you have not seen it, I recommend you watch it. No one ever mentions it in the list of, like, I always see people talking about, like, Naruto and Bleach and Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball, don't get me wrong. And One Piece, but they never say Samurai Champloo. That's CHAMPLOO, by the way. Samurai and then space Champloo. It's hilarious. It's amazing. The music is also amazing. Fat John does a lot of the production for it. His beats are incredible. His instrumentals are incredible. I love his instrumentals. And he also produces for 5Ds. I love those guys. They're amazing. But I was going to say, that's basically the video I was going to make. I'm probably going to continue playing Third Strike without streaming it, but, those are things that I also think should change. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no idea how many times, like as a high-level player, this is my recommendation. If they don't ever change it, hopefully Capcom USA does change it. I mean, they did completely fix Super Turbo with HD Remix. The only thing I didn't like about Ultra Street Fighter 2 is that it was not released on Android and Apple iOS. I think it should be. I mean, as well as Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. I gladly would support it on Android and Apple iOS. I hope they had that Bluetooth battle too, so that like you know what I'm saying? People I know that are also playing. We could just play anywhere without any internet. That would be awesome as well. But the recommendation I make, I suggest, if they don't change it, is that against very strong characters like that, if you want to win at the highest level, it sucks, but you don't really want to pressure them when they first get up. That's an easy counter. What I do recommend is that you bait them. What I mean by bait them is that you try to get them to believe that you're in a counter state and you're really not. And I've caught plenty of players with this, tons of players with this. It does work usually against beginner and intermediate Kens that think they're amazing, and Ryus that think they're amazing and they're really not. It doesn't work on me. But it's a strategy. What it makes them do is second guess that uppercut. As you start baiting them more, they start second guess like, okay, wait, this guy's trying to get. Especially if you catch them with the beginner players that suck, they're always going to try to uppercut you, no matter what. They're always going to try to counter you. They're never going to learn. They're always just going to try to do shit. Don't let that be like the basis of your foundation. Oh man, I suck because this player that sucks beat me. No, you're not approaching it properly. They're always going to try to counter you because they have no idea what they're doing. So they see an opportunity, they're going to go for it. But if you make them believe that there's an opportunity when there's not, they're going to try to anti-air you, super you, EX uppercut you. You're going to block it, or you're going to be out of range that it doesn't actually hit, and you're going to be able to counter them with a full combo, or that maybe even leads to super that takes away half their health bar. So these are high-level strategies against very defensive players, especially like Ryu, Ken, Guile. Those are real strong examples of that, where their special moves are just so far superior than your normal attack. I wouldn't honestly mind it so much if every character could do it, but that's the problem with the unbalanced. It's very unbalanced, and I think it should be fixed. It's because it changes the tier list so much that almost everybody wants to pick Ryu. Everybody wants to pick Ken. Everybody wants to pick Guile. Everybody wants to You understand what I'm saying by that? Like, everyone wants to pick Luke because they don't have to properly play the game like everyone else. When I play Kimberly, I have to properly play the game like everyone else. I have to properly play the game and play good defense and make good offensive decisions to win at the highest level. Whereas mediocre Ken, Ryus, and Guiles and Luke's are just like kind of going through the motions and hoping that something works out for you. Like it's like you can't pressure them on wake up. They're going crazy with the charge punches with Luke. You're blocking them. You try to focus. You try to drive impact them, and then while that move is coming out, they drive impact you back and counter you. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. No move should be like, let me do a charge punch. Like, Luke's charge punch should be removed entirely from the game. His combo potential is just way better than almost every other character in the game. I would say it's probably the best of the entire game. I think it's completely unacceptable. The charge punch should be removed. I don't mind that he has that move that kind of travels him across the screen and he can counter you, but at least have him be right. Have him be right. I think his overhead, when he does that running overhead, if you see him start running towards you, keep in mind he can stop the run and go for a grab, but if you do see Luke running at you, I believe his EX run actually goes through projectile and has projectile invincibility. So if you threw a projectile and he EX runned it properly, he is going to counter you with that overhead or that shoulder tackle. So there's really nothing you could do about that if you played the situation incorrectly. But what I'm saying is, if he does the run and he does the overhead kick after the run, I think that should be honestly safe on block. I mean, you see it coming for 10 seconds. Like, why is that unsafe on block? I think what should happen is, if he does the overhead, it's safe on block, but it pushes you out of range that he can't put you in a grab uppercut setup. If he goes for the shoulder tackle, it should push you out of range so that the next move is back to neutral, which means it's any opponent's possibility right there. That's basically what it means when you're in a neutral state. That means both of you characters are grounded, and there's no advantage to any player. So the next correct move is going to win that situation. It doesn't matter who does it. But the way the game is currently designed is that he does the shoulder tackle, you block it, and you're still kind of like within grab range, which means you're basically within EX uppercut range, which will basically shut you down if you try to go for a grab attempt. It's just a very unbalanced situation, and they could kind of fix that just by adding more pushback on block. I think it's completely unfair that on block, his running overhead, which you see coming from a mile away, is unsafe. I think that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like example for Sean's overhead kick, the quarter circle forward kick, you see it coming from a mile away as well. So I feel like it makes sense from a developer standpoint to go, these moves are safe on block. You can counter them. You have to counter them before they're ever blocked. That's the way to counter it. But if it is blocked, I think it should go back to neutral. I think this is a unfortunate strong advantage for Sean, especially if I have Super R2, is because if I probably shouldn't even be explaining this kind of stuff, but I think the more people know about the game, the better, the more intense and more fun the matches become because people start evolving and understanding. But what I mean by that is that, let's say they block my quarter circle forward kick with Sean. If I have Super R2, they do anything, I could Super R2 them, take away half their health bar, like 40% of their health bar. So what happens? Players start to learn, if you catch them one time with that, they start to learn and go, okay, I blocked it this time, now I'm just going to block. But guess what happens? Now they're in a grab setup. So unless they properly break that grab, now they're getting grabbed. And I think an easy way to fix that situation is that I don't mind that it's safe on block, but when it is safe on block, push them away from grab range. That way players don't exploit these, like Dan was doing it in Street Fighter V with just random. There was a lot of whack Dan players out there that just do quarter circle back spin kick. Even in Street Fighter 4, they were getting away with this. That on block, it's safe. You see, I guess because it has such a long startup, I completely disagree with that. I think that should be a combo tool. They land crouching medium kick. They should have to land into that. This is another reason why I think that every crouching attack that lands should leave the opponent standing on counter. That way you could basically land any combo that your character is capable of. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why I try to explain to the developers why I think it's a good idea. Like, for example, if you with Ryu, if you land crouching medium kick, I don't know. I think that it might be possible now, but in the previous games, if I landed crouching medium kick and I try to do, like, let's say a hard kick, spin kick, my spin kick would completely miss the crouching opponent. So that's another reason why. Those are easy fixes that they could put into the game, and I the intelligent programmers at Capcom USA and Capcom Japan, I know if they hear me, they could easily implement this. It's nothing for them. They're geniuses. I would never be able to put these kind of things together as hard as I tried. I wouldn't even dream of it because first of all, I have no talent in art whatsoever. That's why I think people should really support and appreciate these artists because artists are like so rare. Like, not everyone is able to understand art. Like, if you really understand art, you should be making big money with it because not everyone could do it. You don't have to be the most realistic artist to make money. You just have to be good enough to really, do it. Look at all the. I love Nintendo. Their software is incredible to me. Look at the graphics on Nintendo games that are coming on the Switch. You know what I'm saying? It's not the most detailed and most graphical and most fine, but look how much money they're making. They're making billions of dollars per year. So it just shows you that you don't have to be like this Japanese anime and amazingly realistic artist to make money. You could just be like this simple draw Kirby. You draw a little circle with eyes and a mouth and little hands hanging out. And now it's Kirby, the little pink ball flying around. And people are making billions of dollars doing it. And millions upon millions of dollars doing it. So, like, I just say as a longtime fan, I can't stand when people win. Especially, I really love my win-loss ratio. Because my win-loss ratio, if the game was correct, it would probably be around like 95, 99% win ratio. I probably would win like maybe 99% of my matches. if the game was properly correct. Like it was designed the way I'm saying it should be. And hopefully it does change because I believe that that's the right move. Um, you know what I'm saying? Characters like Hugo could have way better combos. And also, you know, if he had to combo his command grab, which is exactly the way it should be, you wouldn't have to worry about him having good combos. Because the problem with these grapplers is they don't really have good combos. That's their biggest drawback. Um, but their combos that are effective are like some of the best in the entire game because you're so worried about level 3 super, which should be an attack that they actually land on their opponent, not just some raw grab you out of neutral state. You know what I'm saying? That should not be allowed. That's why I'm saying these changes. Like I think that's the right path for these games to go. The games in the past, you know, they came out. You know, I still feel like we could even go back and change those. There's probably not enough money to justify it. But for these new games that are making money, I mean, Street Fighter 6 just made $70 million. So it's mind-boggling to me. But as a fan, you know, obviously I still love the game and play with my friends. But you know, and play online, but it's hard to find a match in Street Fighter 6. And I think the main reason is because of what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I think there could be a little bit better tweaking. Like E Honda, you block his headbutt, and you know you could counter him after that. No questions about it. The recovery time should be longer. Blanca Ball after on block, you know he should not go right back to being full screen. That's crazy. I'm not saying there's not counters. Like Ken is a prime example of getting an easy counter on him. With Ken, because I'm only explaining from the characters that I know how to play. But Ken's standing medium kick, I believe you have to walk forward a little bit before you actually throw the medium kick, but it actually does counter Blanca Ball on block. He's one of the few characters that I honestly know how to counter on block. But, you know what I'm saying? That's basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only character I really know. But it should not be that difficult. If I block a player's Blanca Ball, I should be able to counter them with like hard punch into hard punch uppercut with Ken, hard punch into hard punch uppercut with Ryu, hard punch into EX sidestep kick. That way I get a free uppercut afterwards, which is probably the most ideal combo that he has in that situation, which is obviously not allowed right now, but it should be. That would make Street Fighter so much more fun and so much better. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say, for example, spin kick, cross-up spin kick with Ken or Ryu. You know what I'm saying? I believe currently it does a hard knockdown with Ryu, and with Ken, it just does a stun long enough that you could just do hard punch uppercut afterwards. I think it should even be able to hit crouching opponents. It's not, the only crouching opponents that it does work on, as far as I know, is big characters like Hugo, Q, and stuff like that. I've caught plenty of them with that. But it should be like, it doesn't matter if you're crouching or not. I think you know it should hit either way. The hitbox, just exaggerate the hitbox, man. Like we're as fans, we're gonna be like, okay, it worked, good, thank you. You know, but what I think should happen on hit, instead of them putting them in a hard knockdown with Ryu, it should just do like a crush counter stun, like crush counter for Street Fighter V. If you land the spin kick cross up on your opponent, it should just do a crush counter where afterwards you're able to counter them with whatever you want right there in that situation. Hard punch into hard punch uppercut into level 3 super. I don't see anything wrong with that, because at the highest level, you should be prepared for those situations. You know what I'm saying? You should be prepared for those situations. You know, the only thing I didn't like is that, you know, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. That would be basically my video. I could go on and on. So I'll leave it at that. You know, hopefully the developers listen to me. You know, make sure you check out my other videos. I explained, you know, there's a lot of players I played against that were using modern mode in Street Fighter 6, which makes the game way more accessible for players to do supers, level 3 supers and special moves. I understand if some players don't really want to get too into the franchise and really don't want to win at the highest level, maybe just want to play with their son or daughter, whatever the hell. I understand maybe a dad or something like that, maybe not getting too advanced with it and just wanting to easily do the cool stuff. But if you really do, there is a bigger advantage to playing the traditional control layout, which was light punch. It had 3 punch and 3 kick. The traditional way, light punch, medium punch, hard punch, and hard kick. You're gonna get way more damage per combo per attack. That's why I say you should check out my other videos because I explain the mentality of how to do it correctly. Because a lot of players are waiting too long to capitalize on that double quarter circle forward motion. Depending on the situation, obviously, if you're doing a special move like a fireball, you only have to do the quarter circle forward one more time. You don't have to do it an additional 2 times after that. That would be ridiculous. The game registers the first fireball motion as your first half of your super motion. So as long as you do another quarter circle before you do the punch, you're also going to get the game to register that you did a crouching medium kick into fireball, which also canceled into your super. So a lot of players, a lot of beginner and intermediate players, they don't understand that. They're trying to do more than they have to. And the game engine allows, especially now, way more flexibility and leniency on actually being able to capitalize on offense. You know what I'm saying? But I'll end the video there. You check out my other videos for sure, and I'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a long-time high-level player and fighting game fanatic. That's all I play. For a very long time, all I was ever playing was Japanese fighting games. You know what I'm saying? I love Mortal Kombat, don't get me wrong. I love Killer Instinct, don't get me wrong. I love those franchises. I think Killer Instinct from Xbox One, hopefully they release it on PlayStation 5. That franchise is incredible. The developers of that game, I don't think enough people really gave that. I think that game would have done way better if they would have released it on PlayStation 5 from the very beginning. It would have had a way bigger fan base. It would have made way more money. But unfortunately, they kept it as an exclusive. When I thought that was the wrong move. They're starting to release Killer Instinct on Switch now, which gives me high hopes that Killer Instinct for Xbox One is actually going to be released on PlayStation 5 very soon. Hopefully, especially considering they put a new patch for 60 frames per second in 4K or whatever the hell. I don't know if I'm right about that. I might be wrong about that. But I thought the game was amazing. I had a lot of fun playing Jago. The reason I just picked Jago is because he's basically Ryu, so I didn't have to relearn too much. But I did love the T-Hawk character as well. He was pretty dope as well. But like I said, even in that franchise, players should have to combo the command grab or command grab super. I think that's one thing that the fighting game developers are overlooking, is that it makes it completely unfair and unbalanced for a player to just grab someone out of neutral without actually comboing them. They're completely avoiding neutral altogether. They're completely avoiding having to combo their opponent like every other high-level player does with their characters. And they're just like, oh, command grab, okay, 25% of your health is gone, bye-bye. Like, I would have all respect for a command grab character and a grappler if they were comboing me and comboing into a command grab, which is obviously not possible now, but it should be if they fix the game, because it would make it so much more balanced and so much more enjoyable. Obviously, they would have to make the command grab and command grab super way easier to do for the players. I mean, in Street Fighter 6, it's pretty damn easy with modern controls, but I'm saying that as... for example, the best I could do with Zangief when I was playing him for a little bit was, crouching light kick, crouching jab into level 1 super. And then, obviously, if I have level 3 super, after the level 1 super, if I hold the punch button, it pops him up into the air. And then I could do the level 2 super, which is basically, I feel, the most effective combo that Zangief has in the entire game. You would be stupid not to. If you're trying to land a level 3 super with Zangief at the highest level, good luck, because it's very unlikely that you're going to catch a high-level player with that. They're very aware of those grappler situations. So these are reasons why I say the character's not as good as everyone thinks they are. But I think those are good changes, man. I probably repeated it a few times in my previous videos, but I'll end the video there. I don't want to make it too long. Those are just things that anytime I notice anything like that, I just try to post a video about it. And hopefully Capcom understands why I'm doing it. I know it's just going to make the game better overall, and it's going to make the experience way better. It's going to make players stick around longer and not give up on the franchise. They'll understand more of what the like, for example, even like I said in my previous video, crouching medium kick into fireball. Like, let's say with Ryu, I do crouching medium kick into fireball. A lot of fake ignorant fans were saying, oh, that should be a true block string in Street Fighter 4 with Evil Ryu or with regular Ryu, and they only allowed that to be possible with Evil Ryu. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. If a player makes a mistake, they should be counted. The problem is that the developers don't add more recovery time to Ryu's fireball on block. In that situation, he should be in such a counter state that I could just hard punch uppercut into heavy punch uppercut, or even into level 3 super. It's just that's the kind of approach it should be. It should be a combo-based game. It should be, are players capitalizing correctly on offense? These are the players that should be advancing and showcasing the game's true potential, how to play Street Fighter at the highest level. These are the players that you want to have showcasing your game and what the possibilities are and how to really, win at the highest level. And that's really all I want. I don't mind if a high-level player outplays me and win and beats me. Congratulations. Like, it almost never happens. Like I'm saying, I'm talking about 99%. You know what I'm saying? So, realistically, if you were to look at my win-loss ratio, just subtract 200 losses, like maybe 200-300 losses from my Zangief. I don't know if it was I probably would have said I probably maybe played like 200, maybe a little bit more than that matches. So if you subtract that from my actual win-loss ratio in Street Fighter 6, you'll see how high my win-loss ratio actually is. You know what I'm saying? I do take pride in winning in fighting games, and it's not just Street Fighter, it's Mortal Kombat and Tekken. I was talking the most shit on Mortal Kombat. I don't care who hears me. You know what I'm saying? I was telling them, grab your popcorn, boy. Grab your popcorn. You're going to watch a double feature. You know what I'm saying? Because I caught him with the fatal blow, and I also caught him with the fatality afterwards. It's a double feature, boys. Make sure to sit back, relax, grab your popcorn. You're going to watch a double feature right now. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to end the video there. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not easy to put these games together, but I'm going to end the video there, man. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna end it. I'm always gonna be a fighting game fanatic, and no one's gonna change my mind about it. I love the franchises. I would love to see some of these older games re-released on PlayStation 5, like the Marvel vs. Capcom Arcade 1 cabinet that they did that had all the entire collection in one collection. I thought that was beautiful. I think you could honestly bundle that entire collection and probably get you could probably get players to pay full price for that. And it's pretty sad to me, especially on the Switch. I think Switch fans would love to see Marvel vs. Capcom 2. If they don't appreciate how amazing of a fighting game that is, obviously there's infinites in the game. I don't agree with that. They're pretty hard to do, so like when you see a high-level player doing that, you gotta give props for that. On a traditional controller like I play on, it's almost unreachable, possibility for me. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of the best fighting games of all time. It had one of the best fighting game rosters of all time. But they also had what I don't understand about Capcom is that they were able to make a deal to sell arcade one-up cabinets for $600 with the entire Marvel vs. Capcom collection back when it was called Street Fighter vs. X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and back when it was called Children of the Atom, and Marvel vs. Capcom 1, and they had all those games. I think, they had everything on there. That's a good bundle right there. As for fighting game fans, that's an excellent bundle right there. That's an excellent bundle. I hope fans support KI if it ever gets released to PlayStation 5 because it's an amazing franchise. You know what I'm saying? It's an excellent franchise, and I'll leave it at that, man. I'll leave it at that.